stretched out to the middle, back to Green.
Broke it up. There's a shot. They score! They score!
Bernardo Fords. That's it! Rochester has the lead, and again, it's St. Louis. Fires a shot at diving, save, and it's placed in.
This shot on goal is in!
Good evening and welcome to Kansas City, Kansas and beautiful Children's Mercy Park, the scene for tonight's USL action between the home side Swope Park Rangers and the visiting St. Louis FC. I'm Carter Augustine alongside Chad Reynolds, and Chad, it's Kansas, but it's Missouri bragging rights on the line as it's the fourth game between these two teams in the inaugural season for Swope Park Rangers.
It really is the rubber match between these two teams. They've seen each other 3 times. We've got 1 win for each team, 1 draw. Tonight's the one that decides it all.
So Missouri bragging rights on the line as we look at the lineups, starting with the away side, St. Louis FC. And, of course, earlier this week, Chad, the big announcement, Tim Leonard being named the interim head coach, a St. Louis native.
Yeah, a new coach for the team, guy who's been with the organization. He's a St. Louis legend kind of in the soccer community, played at St. Louis University. He's a local hometown guy. The problem is he's only had 5 days on the job. So that's the big question is what kind of changes can you really make in 5 days? Don't really know that you can implement a new system or anything like that. So we got to come into tonight expecting things to be much of the same from St. Louis FC, which means Irvin Herrera is the target man. He's the danger man.
Irvin Herrera, the target man. 2 changes to Tim Leonard's first professional game as a head coach. And for the Swope Park Rangers, 2 changes as well from Mark Dos Santos' side, who has been changed drastically by some guys being called up to the senior side Sporting Kansas City.
Certainly had a lot of turnover, especially on the back line, with guys going back and forth between Swope Park Rangers and Sporting Kansas City. But the back line, that's the thing. That's the worry spot for Coach Mark Dos Santos. So the question becomes, how do they kind of resettle with Tommy Meyer coming back in at center back, Johnny Grant coming off of an injury, Captain Christian Duke at left back. But for me, the rock in the back recently has been Omar Ballo, and that's the man you got to rely on for consistency tonight.
Looking for consistency in that lineup. It'll be a makeshift back line this time around for head coach Mark Dos Santos and company. And of course, not only Missouri bragging rights on the line, but playoff implications as well, as these two teams right below the red line for the playoffs. Stay tuned as we'll be right back for kickoff here at Children's Mercy Park.
Go Ape is a great place to get out of your comfort zone and live life adventurously.
I enjoyed the zip line. That was the most exciting part of the day. Every zip line was so fast and you didn't know how you were going to land it, but somehow you did, and it was really exciting.
And welcome on in to Children's Mercy Park in Kansas City, Kansas. We're about ready to get things started between Swope Park Rangers and St. Louis FC. Two Western Conference teams battling for playoff position and Missouri bragging rights in the USL. Again, I'm Carter Augustine, joined by Chad Reynolds. Swope Park Rangers start with the kick and move from left to right in their traditional blue-on-blue stripes, and it's a bad giveaway from Dane Kelly right away to the danger man, Irvin Herrera, driving forward, and he draws a foul immediately. And Chad, the first action of the game is Dane Kelly giving the ball away in a bad area, and Irvin Herrera drawing a foul that leads to a nice set-piece opportunity for the visitors.
Well, and Carter, we just talked about it in the pregame show. Irvin Herrera is the guy. I mean, he's the only real target man, the only real danger man right now for St. Louis FC. The guy's got 11 goals and 3 assists on the season. He's an El Salvador international. He's the guy you can't make mistakes with, especially early in the game.
Good work from Herrera to pick up the foul, and now a couple of St. Louis players standing over it. It's a speculative attempt at goal from the men in white, as St. Louis wearing the all-white strip today. Looked to be James Musa trying to go for goal there, and the center midfielder just goes wide, so Zach Lubin can take control, and they'll start play with this goal kick, trying to play it around the back, and Lubin finally just clears it forward. Strong header in the back. Richard Dixon coming to control possession for St. Louis. Ball bouncing around on the near sideline now. Walefi trying to get a foot in. It's a good challenge from Jordan Roberts, and it leaves Walefi on the ground. Head referee Aaron Hernandez came over to check on him, but he'll allow play to continue on here, and it's St. Louis with the ball. Still playing around the back line, and a little bit of a heads up from Sam Fink on the near sideline, and he'll go and check on Walefi, still prone on the ground after that early challenge between Walefi and Jordan Roberts.
And it didn't look like there was a lot in it. Just two guys battling for a ball. Pretty clean tackle. The ball pops up, the foot pops up off the ball a little bit onto Walefi's leg, but it certainly doesn't look like anything that would be more than a stinger. But those are the types of things that really hurt and can stick with you the whole match, too.
You can tell Walefi's still struggling with that really noticeable limp on the right side. We'll see if he can battle through that. There's a couple minutes into the game here, and immediately St. Louis will go and attack Walefi's side of the field. Walefi struggling to get back. It's Roberts with the ball. Back now with Mitch Lurie. Some early sustained possession from the visitors. Coming to the game with a new head coach, Tim Leonard, taking over for Dale Schilly, who was let go following their last defeat to Sacramento.
Well, and Carter, St. Louis FC has struggled early on in matches, especially recently this season. And so that bit of possession they had early had to be nice for Tim Leonard to see. But now the Rangers with the bit of possession here. If you're a Swope Park Rangers fan, you'd love to see them step on the gas early and try and take St. Louis FC out of it, especially a team with a new coach who struggled early in matches, thinking maybe if we give one up early, oh, it's more of the same. If you're a St. Louis fan, it's the exact opposite. You'd love to see him kind of sustain and get through the first 15, 20 minutes, the first quarter of this match without giving anything up.
Bit of a mix-up in the back between, and there's a dangerous challenge from Musa, and immediately referee goes to his pocket, and Aaron Hernandez will show the first yellow card of the game, just under 4 minutes played. James Musa picking up a yellow card for rough challenge on Tomas Granito.
And you said it, Carter, the referee wasted no time making that call. He had a good angle at it. He saw the whole thing. Looked like it started as a fairly similar ball to the one with Walefi earlier, a little bit of a 50-50 ball, two guys coming from two different directions, but Musa coming in pretty high with that cleat. Maybe the stud's exposed. To me, it's a pretty clear yellow card right away.
It seems that St. Louis has come out flying, perhaps a bit of fire lit under them by the new head coach, Tim Leonard, as we talked about in the pregame. Tough to really instill a philosophy, but maybe you can instill some courage as Dane Kelly drives forward now into the box. Kelly trying to get a cross away. Did it take a deflection? No, just mishit by Dane Kelly, out of bounds for a goal kick. But back to that, Chad, how tough is it to instill a philosophy? And Mark Dos Santos told us this week that maybe it's more about him being more of a rah-rah guy for this particular game.
Well, and Mark Dos Santos has had a long philosophical take on different types of coaches and how they come in, and whether you're an energy guy who lifts the team for a couple of games and then things settle, or you're a guy who builds and builds and builds and then the team really settles into a stronger form. He said no matter what, you expect St. Louis FC to come out tonight, have a good, energetic first 15 minutes, and that was the important key for him for Swope Park Rangers, was matching that energy from St. Louis FC.
Has been an energetic start for the visitors, but that clearance is out of bounds from Richard Dixon. It'll be a throw-in on the far side, just past the halfway line. Christian Duke, the captain, playing at left back now. It's part of a somewhat makeshift back line for the Rangers, as Amir Djidic called forward, as was Tyler Pasher, to help out with Sporting Kansas City as they trying to navigate through the group stages of the CONCACAF Champions League.
Well, and it's really interesting that you've got Tommy Meyer at center back and Christian Duke at right back or at left back, and that's how they started the season, Swope Park Rangers. But I think as the season's gone on, we've seen that Christian Duke's a fine left back in this league, but he's a real engine when he can play in the midfield. Tommy Meyer had settled in really nicely over the last month or so as a right back with Omar Ballo and Amir Djidic at center back. So these aren't unfamiliar positions, but it's not necessarily the spot that Swope Park Rangers and Mark Dos Santos would like to see these guys in.
Now St. Louis trying to move forward. Jameel Hardware's pass is intercepted. Quick throw taken though, and it's in the box, and Johnny Grant just hacks at that one, trying to clear it any way possible. Good bit of shielding work by Lurie on the near touchline. And a bit of a throwaway on the ensuing throw-in. It'll be a goal kick for Zach Lubin. And that's one thing that Dos Santos talked about as well, Chad, is trying to get some consistency in that goalkeeping spot. And Zach Lubin getting his 9th start of the season.
Well, and that's something that's been a bit of a revolving door with Zach Lubin and John Kempen and Zendejas and Alec Khan and all sorts of guys playing back there. For right now, it's Zach Lubin's job with John Kempen up with the first team. So he really needs to grab it and own it, especially as you get here closer to the playoff run.
Chris Tierpak first to that loose ball, but his touch leads him astray. He saw the challenge coming, just couldn't quite direct his touch, and would have been some open space for him to run into there. So that's out of bounds for a throw-in. Lurie takes it and now heads on the ensuing kick. Hopeful ball played there by Mike Ambersley, the St. Louis native. Plenty of St. Louis connections on both teams.
Carter, as this lineup is shaking out, it looks more like a 4-1-4-1 from St. Louis FC. And Irvin Herrera really on an island up there right now on his own. He actually had come all the way over left to win that ball near midfield, or challenge for that ball near midfield the last play, but if he doesn't win it, and he didn't, there was no other opportunity.
It's a good ball from Grant up towards Ayrton now in the box with the left foot, trying to just cut it across the penalty spot. Instead, it's deflected out of bounds. It'll be the game's first corner.
And Ayrton a little disappointed with himself on that one, clapping his hands, mad at himself. I think he knows if he plays that ball a split second earlier, he's in a much better spot.
It's a good run forward, though, from Ayrton, trying to get in behind the defense, and been a much improved player, has Ayrton, trying to settle in with this league. Ayrton now with the corner kick, and it challenges Ryan Thompson. First action of the game for St. Louis goalkeeper, and almost spectacular goal from the corner kick position. And Ayrton will try this again with his second corner in immediate succession. This one, not a good one, and Chris Tierpak goes to retrieve, headed away momentarily by Dixon. Back in from Granito, and St. Louis will finally clear their lines and move forward. It's a tricky header from Christian Duke, really putting Omar Ballo under some pressure there. As a result, St. Louis able to pick up possession, and now they can move out of their own half. It's a good control from Herrera. If he can keep that in, that is a clever touch keep that in and keep possession for his team. Big diagonal looked to be intercepted, but Grant couldn't quite get on top of it. Now St. Louis charging into the box. It's a good cutback along the edge of the 18. That's a poor pass. Mark Anthony Gonzalez, and now Hardware trying to dribble around a group of players. Sloppy passing here from both teams. And finally, captain will settle things down. Chad Bond gets it out wide with Roberts. A couple step overs, well defended by the Rangers. So double team between Granito and Grant. They can settle that attack. But again, Grant just can't get the ball out. St. Louis pressing well early on.
And now we're cycling around the back, but this is, I just talked about all the space that Irvin Herrera was kind of left alone in. But now that as they've attacked and had better bouts of possession, they're really compressing it. And part of that's the high line that Swope Park Rangers are playing right now. But they're compressing the field, St. Louis is, and that's allowing them opportunities. Herrera's not seeing a ton of it right now, but there are runs wide.
Ballo now rising to head that attempted pass forward away. Seeing a lot of Jordan Roberts in the early stages on this left side of the midfield. There's Bond. It's a great ball over to the right-hand side. Jameel Hardware now. One-on-one with Christian Duke. And it's Duke who comes away with the tackle. Another slack pass, though. And he's bailed out. It's a late challenge from Ambersley. Looked like he was trying to get there. It was just a tad late. But some sloppy passing in the back from Swope Park Rangers.
Yeah, certainly some sloppy passing. Some Christian Duke losing his feet a little bit, too. It's just everything looks out of sorts right now. I think this game is really struggling to settle in. Both teams looking like they're not quite sure what they want to do with the thing.
Is that a bit of perhaps this rivalry budding? Two Missouri teams know that not only a win today means a season series victory, but also helps either team move up in the playoff standings.
Well, and I think it's, you know, we talked earlier, these are two teams who know each other well at this point. It's an important match for the playoffs. It's an important match for the end of the season. Even if you're not making the playoffs, these are two teams that don't want to lose this rivalry. So you've kind of got a lot of things going on. Oh, and you're going to go play it in a giant, you know, American crown jewel of a soccer stadium. So there's a lot of emotional attachments going on for a lot of different reasons to this match tonight.
Of course, Swope Park Rangers playing at Children's Mercy Park for the first time since their inaugural match back on March 26th, where they beat Portland Timbers 2-1. And we asked Mark Dos Santos if that would be a factor in these players' minds, being able to play at such a nice stadium. And get back to that as Christian Duke tries a whip in across with his left foot. And now here's Roberts again, driving forward. Seeing a lot of the ball in the early stages. He cuts inside now. Chad Bond. Poor pass, looking for Hardware, just didn't get the accuracy correct. Mark Anthony Gonzalez trying to drive into the space that was vacated by Richard Dixon. Still driving forward, Gonzalez. It's a layoff for Walefi. Pressure on his back. Double teamed and immediately looking for Herrera on the breakaway. It's a foot race, Herrera and Ballo. Well recovered by Ballo to just get ahead of Herrera. Looked favorite in the initial pass, and that's just good defending from Omar Ballo.
It's a really good ball from the midfield from St. Louis FC and a good run from Herrera. Ballo just doing very well to keep himself in between Herrera and where he wants to go. Ballo doesn't have to win the ball there. He just has to win the play. Keep himself between Herrera and the goal, and then he does it. He holds Herrera up, and then he sticks the right boot in and wins it right back.
Good build-up play there between Tierpak and Granito. Now it's Ayrton driving in towards the box, and there's a foul just on the edge of the area. This will be a nice opportunity for the Swope Park Rangers. Just in the 15th minute of play here, right on the edge of the box, and you got to think this is set up for Ayrton's left peg.
Yeah, you'd certainly think so. Under different circumstances with different personnel out there, you'd think it'd be Kevin Oliveira or Tyler Pasher with the left foot in this, but Ayrton's been flying lately, Carter, and he's been playing great free kicks. He could have a shot here. He could have a ball to the back post. It's a really dangerous spot because the goalkeeper just not really sure where the ball's going to go when it leaves Ayrton's foot.
Thompson putting 4 in the wall for St. Louis. Ayrton steps up straight into the wall. Walefi back with Ayrton. They'll try and pass it forward, headed away again by St. Louis. Bit of a double touch there as last came off Granito, and disappointing from Ayrton on these free kick opportunities. Just look at the foul, and just outside the box. It's a dangerous challenge. He started the challenge inside the box, but just didn't make contact, Mitch Lurie, until just outside the 18.
Well, and Ayrton, I think, sensed, hey, I got fouled here, and I tried to keep going. But when he realized he wasn't going to get back on that ball, he goes down smartly. He's got to feel he's going to do better on that free kick, though. That's a disappointing free kick from Ayrton in a spot like that.
Tight space maneuvering now by Swope Park Rangers. Chris Tierpak trying to dribble A.J. Cochran into a bind. It's a clever little ball. Mark Anthony Gonzalez not alert to it. Be out of bounds for Swope Park Rangers throw in.
And Carter, a name we haven't said at all yet this match is Dane Kelly. Kind of found himself way on the back post there. You'd like to see Dane Kelly make a run, maybe give them something to do, and let Christian Duke overlap in on the back post, but they're very spread out on that attack from Swope Park Rangers.
Miscommunication there as Ambersley was looking for the run from Herrera. Herrera had already made it and then checked up. Looking for that quick outlet. So you know Irvine Herrera is a handful. Third leading goal scorer in USL with 11 goals. That's great defensive work by Dixon. Just shielding Mark Anthony Gonzalez away from the ball. Physical battle between Ballo and Herrera. Omar Ballo, as you mentioned, Chad, really becoming a rock in the back line for the Swope Park Rangers team. The only guy in that back four that's really been playing the position that he played throughout the past couple months, where Swope Park Rangers made that great run of just one loss in 7 games.
Well, and it's funny because Amir Djidic getting called up to Sporting Kansas City, and there's no doubting that Amir Djidic was fantastic for the Swope Park Rangers over the last month or two. But I think Omar Ballo has been just as good. And Omar Ballo is a guy who Mark Dos Santos tells us he's really, really relying on tonight to provide communication, to provide organization. He's the one, as you said, Carter, consistent player in the lineup from that really good run. Therefore, he's the guy who's got to bring that mentality in that game, even when the rest of those guys on the back line aren't there.
And there's an ever-present for St. Louis, the only player to play every game, A.J. Cochran, center back. Second in the league in minutes played. So some shuffling on the back line for the Rangers, but new coach Tim Leonard really has a solid foundation to build his back line on. This one's cleared out of bounds by Lurie. Bit of a talking to, perhaps, from the referee, as he's looking for a hand across the face. And now Chris Tierpak down on the near sideline, right in front of Swope Park Rangers bench. Trainer Jake Brownback will not have to walk far to treat Chris Tierpak, and worrying signs is just 19 minutes into this game, and Tierpak looks like he's in a lot of pain down there. So momentarily the Rangers playing with 10. Not sure what happened with Chris Tierpak there, but we'll keep you updated, see if he can come back and rejoin the game.
It looks like it might be a Charlie horse or something like that in the leg, but when that muscle tightens like that, it makes it really hard to run. Could be very painful for Chris Tierpak.
It's a nice touch from Walefi, and now Mark Anthony Gonzalez looking for the run of Duke, just overhit it. If Duke kept that in for a throw, he did not. Would have been impressive, as Mark Anthony Gonzalez just can't get the pace on that ball that he needed. Looks like Tierpak asking to re-enter the game and is allowed. 20 minutes gone in this one. Still 0-0 as these teams trying to feel each other out. Really, the only thing either keepers had to do was Ryan Thompson tipping a corner over his own bar. It's been a battle in the midfield for most of this first half. There's Tommy Meyer, St. Louis native. This game perhaps meaning a bit for him. That's a poor clearance from Zach Lubin. Bailed out by Walefi. Now Johnny Grant can move forward as Jordan Roberts had really committed to try and get onto that bad clearance from Lubin. It's a poor ball from Grant, though. But while Leffy cleaning things up, it's Ayrton driving forward on the left foot. Well wide of goal, but some warning signs there, and perhaps that's what we're seeing in this game, Chad. A bad giveaway from St. Louis leads to an immediate counter and an immediate shot on the goal. Obviously not on frame, but shot attempt from Ayrton.
Well, it's really sloppy stuff in the midfield from both teams so far. I mean, very stunted play, neither team holding serious bouts of possession. And as you said, one bad giveaway right there. And Ayrton had a good look at it. Might have been better served to play off of Dane Kelly, who was available for him there, than to shoot that with his left foot. Didn't put it really anywhere near frame. But at the same time, he was given that space to shoot because of the run of Dane Kelly.
Roberts now going at Johnny Grant. Cutting inside. Good tracking back from Tierpak. Just gets his body in front. It's a good touch from Ayrton. He's really playing the attacking midfield role today, charging forward. Crowded out by a couple white shirts. Looked like Bond was the first one there to attend to the run from Ayrton. Hopeful ball, really asking a lot from Herrera there. Tommy Meyer just hoofs it clear.
Tommy Meyer had time there. Absolutely should have done better than just put that ball into the stands.
As a result, it's a throw-in for St. Louis. They can keep possession, and it's been a nervy start for both teams, Chad. We talked about it a little bit, but back to the point of playing at Children's Mercy Park, is that a factor in these players' minds? As it really is a nice stadium to play in. It as popping up with a shot just wide of goal, James Musa. Pocket of space, about 30 yards out, and he thought, why not? I'll have a hit.
You know, Carter, it's an interesting situation playing in a match like this, in a stadium like this. It's a little like the scene in Hoosiers we talked earlier this week. It's, you know, do you go out there with the tape measure and prove to everybody beyond a shadow of a doubt that, hey, this field is the exact same size as every field you've played on all season, or the field you trained on yesterday? But it does. I mean, even to me up here in the broadcast booth, it looks like there's more space. It looks bigger than when we've called these matches at Children's Mercy Victory Field. So
take a look at this shot attempt from James Musa just a moment ago.
Big shooting lane. No pressure at all from the Swope Park Rangers back line. Zach Lubin looks to have it covered if it's on frame, but ton of time and space to get that shot off of James Musa.
Herrera checking back to receive the throw. And Bond will cycle it over with Sam Fink. It's a lazy pass from Sam Fink, and luckily for St. Louis, Jameel Hardware was just able to get in front of that one, as that looked to be a counter immediately going the other way.
A quick restart too.
Quick restart, good cutout in defense from Christian Duke, but Hardware pounces on the second ball. In for Ambersley. Ambersley on the turn. Clever little move there to evade Mark Anthony Gonzalez, but it's a mix-up, and Richard Dixon holding up his hand in apology because Ambersley was really looking for his right back along the right sideline there.
And Carter, here we are 24 minutes into this match, 23 minutes into this match, and it feels like neither team has figured each other out, or more importantly, figured themselves out. A lot of guys not on the same page, breaking off runs, making the wrong run, making a pass behind a run. We're seeing a lot of sloppy play so far.
It's a beautiful day, so you can't blame the conditions here in Kansas City, Kansas. 83 degrees at the start of kick. Couldn't ask for better weather in August in Kansas. Granito, that's a nice ball through several lines of players, and Johnny Grant wasting possession. It's not the first time we've seen that. It's his first start since June 12th. The right back from Toronto.
Johnny Grant, an athletic specimen. The big question for him is, when is the soccer technical ability going to catch up with that athleticism?
Just cleared out of play. Bond couldn't really
control that one. It was fizzed in at his knee. This will be Johnny Grant again, getting whistled to back up. He's got to back up even with the referee there, just not paying attention really. You can hear a nice St. Louis visiting attendance today. Granito gets his toe stuck in the turf there. That can lead to an attack from St. Louis. It's a nice early cross looking for Herrera. Grant charging back in, and it's an offside flag, and took a minute for Aaron Hernandez to see his assistant there. You could see Walefi yelling at him to finally blow the whistle there for an offside.
Walefi was going to do anything it took to make sure Aaron Hernandez knew that that flag had gone up.
Finally does see it. He's the man in the middle. It'll be a free kick for Tommy Meyer now, playing back at center back where he started the season, but was eventually bumped for Amir Djidic. Granito now trying to earn a corner. Heads up defending though. Lurie able to clear just before it goes over the end line. Be a throw in deep in St. Louis territory for the home side, the Rangers. You talked about St. Louis being slow starters, Chad. Been outscored 17-12 in first halves this season, so very much a second half team. Swope will be looking to try and break the deadlock in this first half because you know St. Louis will come out after the break. Well, they're much better. They scored 21 goals in second halves of games this season in just the 23 games prior to tonight.
Well, and this is already a better start for St. Louis FC than in their last match against Sacramento Republic, where at home they were down 3 goals in less than 20 minutes. So 27 minutes in here, have to feel more confident that they're not at least going to give up that kind of run of goals to put themselves in a huge hole to start the match.
It's a poor giveaway from Musa. Tierpak looking for the immediate out, and his pass in turn is poor. So like for like there, 2 bad passes, and now it's St. Louis. It's a good ball from Ambersley out towards Herrera. Drags him out wide left, trying to cross it. Couple white shirts in the box, and just the slightest touch from Walefi, perhaps putting a different path on the ball, and Jamil Hardware couldn't react quite in time.
Yeah, and that's an obvious handball right in front of the official.
Oh, Omar Ballo. Wide for Tommy Meyer. Tierpak's touch lets him down. It's out of bounds. Another throw-in on the near sideline. Seen plenty of throw-ins so far in this one. Neither team really gaining a foothold. As both these teams find themselves outside the playoff picture at the start of today's game. Swope Park Rangers just 2 points back in 10th place. San Antonio winning yesterday, so try and move back up into 8th place with a victory tonight. Meanwhile, St. Louis in 12th, 28 points, just 1 behind Swope Park Rangers, but has played 1 game more as well. Granito now. Tierpak again. Touch letting him down. St. Louis now content to play it around the back. Fizzed into Herrera. As Chad mentioned, been called up for El Salvador's World Cup qualifiers in early September. Be really tough for St. Louis to get their offense going without the man with 11 goals. It's a nice overlap now. Lurie trying to cross it, right fizzed along the 6. Last ditch clearance from Omar Ballo, and it's out of bounds for a corner kick. St. Louis and Chad Bond will come over to the near sideline to take.
And Carter, before we see this corner kick, let's take a look really quick at the rest of the St. Louis FC roster and even the men available tonight. Without Irvin Herrera, there's literally not another forward in the 18 tonight. Every other player on the bench listed as a midfielder or a defender. So he's the man.
Bond now up towards the penalty spot, headed right back where it came from. Strong header from Omar Ballo, physical center back, making his 10th start of the season. We'll have another corner to deal with here as Bond again. This one doesn't beat Christian Duke on the near post, but Bond will get a second opportunity. Meyer just half clearance. Hardware takes a rip from 25 and fires that one over, but good idea from the Jamaican as it fell to him on the edge of the box.
Yeah, it's not a bad look at all. Ball's hopping on him a bit. The turf looks like it's a little hard down there, so maybe that ball popped up a little bit more than he expected, but it's as good a chance as you're going to get from a situation like that where you've got a lot of space to shoot.
Zach Lubin taking the goal kick now up towards Chris Tierpak. Strong header from Mitch Lurie. Johnny Grant, all he can do is play it out of bounds. There's Mark Dos Santos, and it was named this week that he will be leaving Swope Park Rangers at the end of the season, moving on to San Francisco, a new team in the NASL. Very much focused on finishing out the season with the Swope Park Rangers and the main task of trying to make it to the playoffs in the inaugural season. Perhaps a different state of mind for the team, though, playing under a coach that you know is leaving at the end of the year.
Well, you'd like to think they seize on that and take it as motivation for, hey, let's win this while he's here. He's gotten us this far. Let's see if we can take it the rest of the way with him. But
see here, Musa throws it in. It's a long throw up towards the 6-yard box. Well claimed by Zach Lubin there. Bit of an easy take for the goalkeeper, but one he had to make. And they've really been pressuring Zach Lubin. So his distribution has been challenged in this first half. And Dan Kelly is offside. Just straying a bit too far. Right, Chad, haven't heard a lot from Dane Kelly in the early stages of this one. Half an hour gone, and just a few times have we heard Dane Kelly getting on the ball in this first half.
well, and you and I were talking with Swope Park Rangers PR guru Patrick Bergabo earlier this week about if the lineup we saw in training was the lineup that was going to be on the field tonight of Mark Anthony Gonzalez, Dane Kelly, Chris Tierpak up front with Ayrton behind him. We were really excited by that proposition, but those four really don't seem to be on the same page yet. Not a whole lot of connection between those guys. And that's what happens to Dane Kelly when he doesn't get involved, when he doesn't have any help. He's really kind of on his own to create chances, and he's a really pacey guy. He holds the ball really well, but he needs the service to do anything, and right now that service isn't there.
First time that this front three has started together, Tierpak, Gonzalez, and Kelly. So you're right, Chad, perhaps it's a bit of cohesion issues now. Tierpak has got Christian Duke if he can find him. It's a nice pick out. Duke now cutting it across the penalty spot. Well dealt with by St. Louis. Ayrton retreating to pick up possession again for the Rangers, and they'll drive forward. Gonzalez now a bit lazy there. He should have came back, and as a result, St. Louis can drive forward. A couple of bad passes between both teams there, but the Rangers can latch on to possession now. Tommy Meyer.
You know, Carter, in soccer we often talk about, well, the final pass wasn't there, and I'd say right now both of these teams struggling, not even with the final pass, it's the pass before the final pass. There's nothing that's even really allowed them to set themselves up for good opportunities, because every time you think one's going to break, there's a bad pass that breaks off the attack.
There's a good pass from Omar Ballo. Ball trailing towards the sideline, and Christian Duke running onto it, but it'll go immediately back with Ballo as Duke's back pass was astray, and now Mark Anthony Gonzalez on the wrong page with Christian Duke. It's a turnover in possession in St. Louis again. A.J. Cochran playing for his hometown club. Bringing it forward with Lurie. Again, asking a lot of Irvin Herrera. gets there somewhat late, is able to pressure Tommy Meyer and playing that one out of bounds. Zero-zero still the score here at Children's Mercy Park. Just 10 minutes remaining plus added time in this first half. These two teams 1-1-1, identical records in the first 3 games of this series. It's a sloppy ball from the captain, Christian Duke. While Leffy way back to receive that. Good pressure from James Musa. Calm under pressure from Tommy Meyer, and then Granito will just play it all the way back. See the midfield 3 really cycling around for Swope Park Rangers. Granito now the deepest on the ball. Ayrton lures Roberts in and drives past him. Really gaining in stature as he's acclimated, brought in halfway through the season. It was Ayrton. It's a hopeful ball up for Chris Tierpak. A bit of a tangle in the box. Pops free, and Ryan Thompson gladly pounces on that one. It's a nice atmosphere here. Both sets of fans getting into it. Dan Kelly does well to regain possession for the home side. Again, Granito's pass just behind the run. And the Rangers will have to check back with Tommy Meyer now. In for Tierpak, and his touch gets away from him again. We've seen that actually a number of times in this first half from Chris Tierpak. Really hasn't been able to get the right amount of touch on the ball on this near side wing.
And I generally say Chris Tierpak, one of the better first touches on this Swope Park Rangers team. But it's letting him down. Wonder if that injury earlier or something. He seems a little timid with that first touch. And not holding on to the ball at all right now.
Roberts in with Ambersley. Ayrton alert. Checks back. It's good backtracking from the attacking midfielder. Ambersley didn't hear him on his back shoulder. Again, Leffy. Tommy Meyer afforded pretty much the mercy of the pitch. Some nutmeg from Dane Kelly. Did well to drive forward now, just on the edge of the box. He'll have a go in towards Tierpak. Offside. Offside from Tierpak. Dane Kelly looked to be shooting there, and it wasn't going on goal. Tierpak charging in. Looked to be clearly offside there, but some smart bit of play from Dane Kelly to really carve out a chance on his own.
Well, it's a really good run from Chris Tierpak off the ball that opens that up. Tierpak goes, and 2 center backs, or at least one, steps with Tierpak, which gave Kelly that lane to drive into. Hard to tell if Dane Kelly was shooting or passing to Tierpak there. I think he's shooting with this ball, and it gets cut in a little on him. Yeah, he's definitely shooting. And Tierpak definitely a step offside. Johnny on the spot, but maybe a little too on the spot from Chris Tierpak.
Ball's in the net, but it won't count. Chris Tierpak, maybe that'll give him some confidence going forward. Dane Kelly really carving that thing out on his own. Quick turn and beat a man with the dribble, beat a couple for pace, and got in the box. And like you said, Chad, just shooting it off target, but maybe that'll allow him to get in the game. That's dangerous play from Leffy. But he does well to get away from the St. Louis press. Here he is, Leffy starting to gain in stature in this game. It's a great ball over towards Tierpak. Tierpak now trying to curl it into the far post. It's an easy save for Ryan Thompson down to his right, but perhaps a good idea from Chris Tierpak, cutting in onto his left foot.
Well, and there's that first touch we talked about from Chris Tierpak also. Brings it down well, cuts it to his left foot, hits that ball. If Thompson spills it, Mark-Anthony Gonzalez is good there. It's an easy tap in, so that's better stuff from the Swope Park Rangers here in the last 4 or 5 minutes.
There's 5 minutes and change remaining in this first half. Take a look at that chance from Chris Tierpak. Cutting in on his left foot. Just didn't quite get the power behind that one.
Little step over to give himself enough room to get that shot off.
St. Louis now passing triangle on the near sideline. It's a good build-up play. Early ball, though, from Ambersley. He's looking for the run from Herrera. He's getting an earful from Chad Bond, actually. Just have some good build-up from St. Louis. Towards Tierpak. It's headed clear by A.J. Cochran. Grant now throws it into Ayrton. Looking for dribble between the legs there. Didn't get it right, and Ambersley was able to deflect it away. Musa now. It's Dixon giving it away. Musa, though, able to pounce on Ayrton, who was a bit lazy. Ambersley was offside, but Musa was not, so he'll play it back for Ambersley. In towards Herrera. It's a good ball, well defended by Tommy Meyer. And Christian Duke will complete the clearance, so as that ball just trickles out of bounds. It's a good bit of play, though, and heads-up play from James Musa, because Ambersley was offside, but Musa was alert to the danger, and perhaps the back line for the Swope Park Rangers was not.
Well, Ambersley was offside and gave up on the play quickly, as he should. But Christian Duke then kind of gave up on the play, thinking, I've got this ball easily. And Musa just outruns him to it in the corner and gets a dangerous cross-off that's then cleared by Tommy Meyer. But definitely need more awareness. And whether that's communication or that's just spatial awareness, somebody on the Swope Park Rangers back line or their goalkeeper needs to say, hey, wake up. They're still coming at us here.
Omar Ballo, who's actually sent off in the first game between these two teams on May 7th with 2 yellow cards. Sure, he'll be looking to stay on the field this time around. Roberts now, ball goes over his head, he tracks back. Granito keeps it in play. Looked like the ball just stayed on the line there. It's right in front of our booth. Again, Cochran with a towering header. He's won just about everything in the air so far in his first half. It's a bad touch from Tommy Meyer. Out of bounds and an attacking throw for St. Louis. Herrera now back with Lurie, looking for Ambersley. It's a good run, good ball in as well. Ambersley in towards Herrera, edge of the box. Granito, dangerous challenge, just gets away with it. Of course, Granito has some experience with the El Salvadorian national team as well. Getting in on his fellow El Salvadorian there on that tackle. I think he just escaped, though. It was a really dangerous play on the edge of the box.
I think Herrera may have just slipped on the turf as Granito got there and kind of maybe heard the footsteps and tried to do something quick, and it wasn't there. Carter, I watched Herrera that whole play. He does a really, really nice job of dropping into the open space between the back line and the center backs of Sporting Kansas City, or excuse me, Swope Park Rangers, and the midfielders to receive that ball. And Tommy Meyer not seeing him over his shoulder, not realizing that he had dropped into that space and they could step the line up. And that's exactly what we've seen Amir Djidic and Omar Ballo do recently, is recognize those kinds of drops.
Tierpak now looking for the cross. It's right on the penalty spot, headed away by Dixon. While Lefty trying to retreat. Did he keep that in play? No, he did not. Or perhaps it's a high boot. Either way, it'll be St. Louis ball. There's a look at Tim Leonard, former St. Louis University captain, still director at the famous soccer club St. Louis Scott Gallagher, which has a couple notable former players, including Tommy Meyer.
Leonard also a longtime St. Louis ambush player, along with his assistant coach Matt Caution.
It's an easy take for Zach Lubin. Sounds like 1 minute will be the amount of added time in this first half. Seems about right. It's really, the ball is bouncing around. There's a tussle between Granito and Musa. Now a kick out from Musa. Already on a yellow card as well. This will be an interesting decision for referee Aaron Hernandez as tempers flare. Musa and Granito getting into it. There's a tussle on the ball just before that. The ball pops back. Granito is first on his feet, gets up, gets on the ball, and Musa with the late challenge picks up a foul, and then there looked to be a kick out as Granito lied on the ground. It looks like Aaron Hernandez, the referee, is just gonna let this one slide, but a bit of a heads gone play from James Musa there.
Well, Granito was grabbing at his face. It's almost as if Musa had raked his boot over Granito's face. The referee, Aaron Hernandez, had a talk with Musa a minute ago and basically gave him the "you're okay, go away" conversation, but it's
interesting to see what exactly happened in that dust-up, but
it happened behind the ball. It happened after the ball was gone, so hoping we've got a good enough look at it to see.
Tommy Meyer drives for the ensuing free kick. Take a look at this little mix-up in play here as perhaps he's just tripping over a player there. Can't tell if there's any intent there or not.
I think the second he trips over him, he pulls his foot over the leg, and then he keeps pulling it, and Granito's head's there. You drag a foot that long along the guy, you know what you're doing. I don't think he meant to hit him in the face or hit him in the head, but it's still dangerous stuff when you're on a yellow card.
That'll be the last action of the first half. So I don't think the 1 minute was actually added. Instead, it'll be whistles from Aaron Hernandez, and these two teams will go into the halftime break still knotted up at 0. A first half devoid of any real chances. We'll see if these two teams can go into the halftime break and make the necessary adjustments as, of course, bragging rights and playoff implications still on the line here at Children's Mercy Park. Stick with us. We'll be right back for halftime stats and highlights as it's the end of the first half. Swope Park Rangers 0, St. Louis FC 0. Welcome back in. It's halftime here at Children's Mercy Park. Game still tied at 0-0 between Swope Park Rangers and the visiting St. Louis FC. Take a look there. Some good goalkeeping work from the Swope Park mascot.
Yeah, I believe that's a Masquatch.
Masquatch.
Masquatch, Hat Trick Harry.
I like it. I never heard the Masquatch before. Hat Trick Harry doing work. Not a lot of work for the goalkeepers in the first half, as neither team really able to gather a foothold in this game. And Chad Reynolds, what did you see in that first half from the home side Swope Park Rangers?
Carter, I think we saw a sloppy half from both teams, really. Neither team could connect anything. No real chances. The last maybe, let's call it 8 minutes from Swope Park Rangers, there was better stuff. There was the goal called offside, I think rightly so, when Dane Kelly connected with Chris Tierpak. We saw good stuff from Tierpak immediately following that. But for most of the 45 minutes, it was pretty sloppy stuff from both teams. Neither team really feeling like they were putting it all together. And we talked about it during the half. It wasn't even so much the final pass as the pass before the final pass.
And neither team really with a bunch of attacking options on the bench. Visitors, St. Louis, without another forward on the bench. They do have Shilo Shuma, who has scored against Swope Park Rangers this season. Meanwhile, the Rangers, with a very academy-heavy bench, including a combined 76 minutes played on their bench. A bunch of academy guys being called up to this game against St. Louis.
Well, and then the surprise inclusion on the bench today for Swope Park Rangers is Akil Barrett, who's just signed less than a week ago. Was a 2015 second round draft pick by Orlando City. He played for the Jacksonville Armada last year. Was a prolific goal scorer at the University of Tulsa. And actually when Chris Tierpak went down early in the first half, that was the guy that Mark Dos Santos sent to warm up. So you got to think you'll see Akil Barrett today. So there is maybe one more attacking option on the bench. But other than that, it is a lot of young kids. I think, what'd you say, 76 minutes combined, and only 2 of the 7 men on the bench have ever even appeared for the Swope Park Rangers.
So we'll see if either coach will make a change here at the halftime interval, as we'll be right back to go over stats and bring the second half kickoff from Children's Mercy Park. Again, it's halftime. Swope Park Rangers 0, St. Louis FC 0.
I think one of the things I was most excited about when we launched the Swope Park Rangers was being in the United Soccer League and having the proximity of other teams in the Western Conference that we can start to form rivalries with. We've got 3 teams within 5 hours, St. Louis being the closest, just across I-70. First time in professional outdoor soccer since the late 1960s, early 1970s, dating back to the NASL days with the St. Louis Stars and the Kansas City Spurs. So now the Swope Park Rangers and the St. Louis FC in the same league, getting to play each other year in and year out.
Good evening and welcome in to Worldwide Technology Soccer Park in Fenton, Missouri, as we bring you Wednesday night soccer. Playoff implications on the line tonight as we have a matchup between two Western Conference teams in St. Louis FC and the Swope Park Rangers just across I-70. And a nice little rivalry budding between these two teams, so you know that both teams want points tonight and you should be able to see a good matchup.
Hey, another championship game tonight. Another great opportunity to take advantage of climbing up in the standings. It's a question of how bad do we want it? How bad do we want to succeed? Tonight, we show it on that field how bad we want it.
Go, boy, go!
1 on 3, 1 on 3,
1, 2, 3, hey!
I got the shirt on.
Another game that we need to take care of in the first whistle.
Let's go, here we go, come on. 1 on 3, 1, 2, 3, hey!
Shot goes off the post. Schuma shot saved, diving to his right, John Kempin, but what an opportunity. Here's Rubio Dane, on sides. He's got it, deflected off pace. Rubio has an open goal shot, and it's in.
Guys all good? First 15 minutes, come on.
They're gonna come out with everything. They're home, they don't want to lose this game. So make sure the first 10 minutes we are aggressive.
Yeah, we going.
We go. It's not holding back and being scared. We're aggressive in the first 10. You got it?
Fouled, he's going to call it. The referee calls it. Penalty coming, Jordan Roberts. Left foot, ripped it. It's in.
Our final score, Swope Park Rangers 1, St. Louis FC 1.
For what we did in the first half and maybe for what St. Louis did in the second half, it's a fair result. For us, it's important to get points on the road, but every point is important, every point is good, and 1 point at a time, it's putting us higher in the standings and giving us an opportunity to reach our biggest objective.
It's halftime here at Children's Mercy Park. 0-0 to score between the home side Swope Park Rangers and the visiting St. Louis FC. I'm Carter Augustine, joined by Chad Reynolds. And Chad, take a quick look at these first half stats as Swope Park Rangers outshot St. Louis 4-3, but just one on goal as the one save was made by Ryan Thompson on a tame effort from Chris Tierpak. 2 corner kicks apiece for either side. And St. Louis leading the foul count, 8 fouls against the visitors compared to just 4 for Swope Park Rangers. The 1 yellow card just 3 minutes into the game for James Musa, who is perhaps still lucky to be on the field after a dangerous kick-out attempt midway through that first half. And Chad, these two teams tied up at the scoreless interval. What's the key for either side as they try and claim all 3 points, which would mean a series victory in this, the first year of this interstate rivalry?
Carter, for me, I think it's pretty simple. The first team that settles down and actually controls the ball and controls possession and doesn't try to force things, just stops giving the ball away, is the team that's going to go ahead and win this match. We've seen 2 teams struggling at times to figure it out, and you hate to say it as simple as the first team to figure it out is going to win this, but that's kind of how it feels tonight.
Plenty of careless giveaways and turnovers in that first half as well. Chad, would you be at all surprised if the breakthrough comes from a careless giveaway and a quick counterattack?
No, I think that's where we've seen the best chances for both teams tonight so far is one team gives a ball away that they really shouldn't, whether it's a bad pass or a poor touch or just not being on the same page, and then there's a super quick break the other way, and that's where the best chances have come from for both sides.
As get ready to start this second half, a pat on the back from Mark Dos Santos to substitute Akil Barrett, making his Swope Park Rangers debut, signed just this past Monday. Looks like, get a word here, it looks like he's come in for Walefi, so Mark Anthony Gonzalez has taken up the space where Ayrton was operating. Well, then Chad will have to see how that develops throughout this second half, but Akil Barrett for the time being popping up on the left-hand side as we get things started in this second half. St. Louis with the second half kick and immediately looking for Jordan Roberts offside along that left side.
And Carter, we talked a little bit about Akil Barrett at halftime, a prolific goal scorer at the University of Tulsa, was drafted by Orlando City, contract was not picked up, and he went and played last year with Jacksonville Armada in the NASL, 3 goals in 23 matches, and then off to Sweden for a season, 2 goals in 17 matches for Patea, and now here with Swope Park Rangers, 5 days after being signed.
Good ball from Bond. Immediately Musso with the ball, and that's a really poor giveaway from Ambersley. Just not on the same page at all. Plenty of space here as the Rangers drive forward. It's Mark Anthony Gonzalez picking up a pocket of space. Lung-bursting run from Johnny Grant. Just can't get on the end of that one. Tierpak was looking for him. Looked like Grant kind of gave up on the cross as he had stopped his run and then immediately had to look up, and the ball was right near his feet.
Well, and there was no killer instinct on that play from the Swope Park Rangers. Had numbers, had 5-on-4 and almost 6-on-4 at one point. But just everybody kind of slowing up and letting the ball get wide to Chris Tierpak, and then, as you said, Grant gave up on his run, and the ball then was easily cleared.
Quick throw taken, and Ayrton dribbles forward and earns the 3rd corner of the match for Swope Park Rangers. It'll be Ayrton again to take. Had a couple in the first half that, including one Ryan Thompson had to tip over the bar. Ayrton, short corner with Tierpak. Nice little dribble move to lose a defender. Ayrton charging into the box, trying to square for Johnny Grant. Just can't get his shot on frame. Not sure what the referee said. It looks like a goal kick is the final decision from the referee. It's kind of a weird point from Aaron Hernandez there. Couldn't tell where he was pointing to.
It's a nifty little move down the end line there from Ayrton. Good centering ball to Johnny Grant, who I just think scuffs underneath it and pops it up and out of play.
Some 2 early chances for the Swope Park Rangers right back. Take a look here as Ayrton, like you said, Chad, first great move to get in the box, and then there was a challenge on Johnny Grant as he tried to take that shot on, but just can't get it on frame. It's a really good opportunity early in this second half. It's good dribbling work from Ambersley. His pass, however, cut out. It's Akil Barrett on his debut, trying to do his defensive duties early on. It's a long ball up towards Barrett. Smaller frame, Akil Barrett. 5'7", not going to win many balls in the air.
No, it looks like he's a speed guy, and we saw he made a big run on the backside on that chance that Ayrton had, and then coming back to win the ball a minute ago was a good 2 or 3 steps behind his man, but beat him to the ball.
There's a bad challenge from Ayrton. He missed out on the initial tackle and just kind of kicked out at Richard Dixon.
And then leaves the ball on Richard Dixon's back for St. Louis to continue play.
Perhaps a bit fortuitous there, as it was a kick out as Dixon got by him. There's a strong challenge from Balo, and Chad, you're giving the calm down signal. Looked to be an unnecessary challenge as Herrera had his back to goal, full 30 yards away from goal. Quick restart not allowed by Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah, I think Aaron Hernandez trying to take control of this match. I think he's given the calm down signal a little bit too. That was definitely the first challenge Balo had on Hernandez there, or excuse me, on Herrera there, was unnecessary. The second was even more so. Even if Herrera's got that ball, he's going away from goal and he's 30 yards away or 35, 40 yards away. No need to give up this free kick here.
As a result, Mitch Lurie take this free kick on his left peg. It's a good ball in, headed across the face of goal. What a chance for St. Louis. Looked to be James Musa on the end of that one. Just couldn't direct his header on frame. Fantastic delivery from Mitch Lurie.
It's a really great free kick. Forces Zach Lubin, the Swope Park Rangers goalkeeper, to turn his hips, which means he can't come out and get to that ball. And Musa just can't put it on frame. Puts it across the face of goal, though.
And Zach Lubin stranded as he's trying to reach for that corner kick. Still stranded, and it's have to be off the line. It's Ayrton who really bails Zach Lubin out. Some questionable goalkeeping on that corner kick, and immediately it's booted clear. Dane Kelly with good pressure on a 1-on-2 situation, and now Akil Barrett trying to dribble forward. Good tackle, though, in the back from Richard Dixon, and he finds a good out ball. Game opening up a little bit in this second half. Ambersley on the near sideline. Looking to get a cross in against Christian Duke. Well defended by the Rangers captain. Back now with Hardware. That's a great looking ball in. And it's Musa, and he heads just over. 2 golden chances for James Musa in a space of a couple minutes. And again, he just can't put his header on frame.
That's another good cross in. And in this case, both Irvin Herrera and James Musa had found the space between the two Swope Park Rangers center backs. We see the first one here, Musa onto the back post, and he plays it across. He's definitely having a go. Has to be cleared away by Mark Anthony Gonzalez. And then this is the second chance where Zach Lubin came out, didn't win the ball, can't get to it, and Ayrton very calmly on the line keeps it clear. And then the third one, big ball in, and again, 2 forwards, or a forward and a midfielder for St. Louis FC, right in between the center backs. Miscommunication between Omar Balo and Tommy Meyer, and it's a free header that James Musa really should put on frame.
So restart here is a foul called against Akil Barrett, and St. Louis really has started this second half in a much better position. Sort of getting numbers in the box. Perhaps that was the message at the halftime break. Lucky header there from Tommy Meyer to find Zach Lubin. Perhaps that was the message, Chad, from Tim Leonard to try and get some numbers into the box and try and support Irvin Herrera. Meanwhile, Dane Kelly dribbling into the box, just too long on his touch, allows Ryan Thompson, his compatriot, to come out and swipe the ball from underneath him. Dane Kelly trying to get forward. It's been a bright spot for the bright start for the visitors in this second half.
It certainly has, and you were touching on it before, that Dane Kelly chance. And maybe Tim Leonard said, get the bodies in the middle, and we'll start whipping crosses in, and good things are going to happen. And so far they have. See if St. Louis FC can keep it up.
Intercepted by Tommy Meyer. His pass, however, is a loose one, and St. Louis can go forward again. Herrera. Back now, Lurie. Bond trying to dig the ball out from under his feet, and that can lead to a fast break opportunity. Dane Kelly just straight offside. Really shouldn't have been. It was a really tight decision from the far side assistant referee, but Dane Kelly just going a bit too soon there. There's a bad turnover in midfield, and really there's the whole width of the pitch there to deal with for Dane Kelly had he managed to stay onside.
Yeah, Dane Kelly completely lost the St. Louis FC center backs. And to my eye, my naked eye, when the ball was played by Granito, I think Dane Kelly was on. He seemed to think he was on. But either way, he had so much space, he could have taken 2 or 3 more steps back toward to make sure he was onside, and still had all kinds of space to run at goal.
Dribbling from Ayrton there. It's Chad Bond who managed to just get in at the last second. Looked like he was beaten initially, so good perseverance from the St. Louis captain. That's a clever ball forward. Herrera couldn't get it under control with his first touch. Strength from Omar Ballo. Just play it up the line. And Akil Barrett, alert to the situation. It's good tracking back from Barrett. Tight spaces here, good control. Duke now trying to dribble along the near sideline, and somehow the Swope Park Rangers managed to keep possession in that build-up. Ayrton now, his touch just gets away from it. We'll see in these two guys, Ayrton and Bond getting forward. Ambersley looking again for Herrera, just can't quite get the right pace on the ball. It's a risky pass from Granito, but he finds Dane Kelly. Dane Kelly, step over, loses his man Dixon. Looking for the run of Johnny Grant, and there's a tackle still being played. Johnny Grant looking for Mark Anthony Gonzalez. This game is really getting scrappy here in the early stages, 10 minutes into the second half.
Scrappy, back and forth, up and down. I see Granito shoot from distance. It's that kind of game where that 40-yard shot might actually go in.
Just trying to test Ryan Thompson there, Granito, as it's an easy save for the Jamaican. Take a look here again as Granito charging into the space. Mark Dos Santos says he's got the hardest shot on the team, but it's going to take something special to beat goalkeeper from that distance. It's a good switch of play there. Bond finding Roberts along the left-hand side. Good step from Johnny Grant. Read the situation there as Lurie was trying to get on the overlap. Throw in St. Louis into the feet of Herrera again. Bad giveaway. Loose dribbling from Ayrton. Too risky in his own half there. It's cut out, and now St. Louis on the attack. Dribbling forward into the attacking third is Ambersley. This pass doesn't beat Omar Ballo, and Ballo will just clear up the near touchline. Nike is a proud partner of the USL. Follow @Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike Soccer information. Header well won by Musa. Now he has a rip. From 30 yards, here slam against the advertising boards. No trouble at all for Zach Lubin, but speculative effort from James Musa, Plymouth, England native, as he's had 2 headers in this second half, and won a nice header there to carve out that chance between he and Herrera.
For me, that's smart stuff from Musa. He looked up and saw that Lubin had stepped a little bit with the initial ball and wasn't necessarily in position in the center of his goal. So that from distance a little ambitious, but if he can put it on frame, he might have caught Zach Lubin there. As we see the shot again. We don't get to see it there, but Lubin was actually scrambling a little bit to get back into position right before Musa had that shot.
A little flick from Hardware. Didn't come off. Herrera had drifted well offside.
Smart step from Ballo and Meyer there.
Really caught Irving Herrera. Mike Ambersley, St. Louis native as well. Been tasked with getting close to Herrera in this second half, really playing more like a second striker.
Yeah, it was a 4-1, 4-1 for most of the first half. It almost looks like it's a 4-1, 3-2, 4-2, 3-1. It's shifting back and forth, but certainly they're doing more to get Herrera some assistance up top.
Yeah, we've seen Musa getting forward, Ambersley getting forward better in this second half. Perhaps this is the tactics at the halftime break, is we want to get our midfielders just closer to Herrera so he's not on an island all by himself.
And I think that was the first statement we made about Irving Herrera at the beginning of the match, was that he was seemingly on an island. And you look at the field now, and there's a triangle up there with him that he's the point of, and that certainly was not the case in the first half.
Get into the game through the USL's social media channels. Follow the USL on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for news, live game updates, and video highlights from across the league. Long ball forward, and again, Dane Kelly had strayed offside. It's not the first time in this match. Of course, a lot of strikers that score goals, including Dane Kelly, the all-time leading USL goal scorer, like to play that offside line. Certainly been right on the fringes of it today. Barrett draws a foul from a heavy challenge, and Richard Dixon getting a talking to. Kiel Barrett, as Chad mentioned, 17 appearances with Patea IF in Sweden. Got 2 goals in those appearances. See what he has to offer in his first appearance in the USL. Tierpak did well under pressure to get anything on that ball. Unfortunately, the clearance ricochets off his shin and out of bounds. Tommy Meyer had gotten forward on the overlap.
Well, there was a quality flat run on the very wide side from Johnny Grant also, that I think that's actually who Tierpak's trying to feed through there.
Played all the way back to Zach Lubin, and his clearance is only into a host of white shirts. Ball goes back with Lubin again. An hour played at Trojans Mercy Park. Sun just beginning to set here in Kansas City, Kansas. Ayrton with the right foot looking for the run of Barrett. See that speed from Akil Barrett getting forward. Kingston, Jamaica native, and just couldn't get on the end of that. Just a bit too heavy on the pass from Ayrton, but we saw Barrett in practice this week, Chad. Looked to be a fiery character. Just his first week in practice, already barking at his teammates all throughout the practice.
And I've liked the work ethic we've seen from Barrett tonight, too. He's gotten himself involved up and down that left wing.
Chad Bond has really stood out in this second half. Getting forward there, past Granito, plays a nice ball out with Roberts. Roberts now in the box, trying to cross it with his left foot, well blocked from Johnny Grant. I think he got stepped on in the follow-through there, which will be a sore one for Johnny Grant as he put his body on the line to block the cross from Jordan Roberts.
And the long legs of Johnny Grant making sure that Jordan Roberts doesn't have a chance to get around him or get that cross off. And either stepped on or maybe hyperextended the leg or did something weird when he landed, stretching for that ball. But referee Aaron Hernandez waving, no, you don't need to send on a trainer for this. Carter, you mentioned Chad Bond. I think Chad Bond has slid up the field a little bit more and has certainly been more involved in this second half. He's more kind of the fulcrum now in the middle to make sure things happen.
Corner kick taken towards the 6. Good clearance from Tommy Meyer. Dane Kelly now is able to dribble into a couple defenders and earn a throw in his own half. 99 making his return to the starting lineup. One of the 2 changes Mark Dos Santos made from the loss to Real Monarchs Outside of the boot pass for Akil Barrett. It's a good delivery from Chris Tierpak, who charges now to get in the box. Barrett with a step over, looking for the far post. A foot save. Ryan Thompson down smartly. It's fizzed across the face of goal. Akil Barrett making his presence felt in the second half.
And he was calling for that ball long before Tierpak made it. It's a good outside of the foot ball from Tierpak. Barrett beating his man, getting the shot off, the foot save, and then A.J. Cochran, a little fortuitous that his deflection doesn't go right back in the goal.
Ayrton with the near post corner, and that's poor delivery. Expect better from the left peg. Ayrton now on the ball again, in towards Barrett. Gonna draw a defender in to beat him with pace. Looking for the ball over the top. That's not where he was intending. He was looking for the run of Tommy Meyer on the far post, and just got that pass all wrong in towards Dane Kelly. So Roberts now charging past the halfway line for St. Louis. Still hasn't been closed down, Roberts. Good layoff. Now Hardware. He's got the overlap if he wants it. Initially, no. Now he does find Dixon. Dixon with a clever ball in towards the spot. Herrera was trying to get there. Tommy Meyer just beats him. Ayrton now with Dane Kelly. His attempted pass is deflected. Tierpak trying to get in there. It's a clever back heel, though, from Lurie. This game is opening up in the second half. Plenty of space out there on the pitch now that we didn't see in the first.
Certainly a much more up and down match. And the little mistakes are still there, but when the game's moving this quickly, everything feels frantic, so they don't necessarily stand out as much.
Still been plenty of chances off those mistakes for each team, like you said, Chad, in the second half. Gonzalez with a nice switch of play. Barrett now dummied the pass to Christian Duke, kept it on his right peg. Ayrton charging past Bond. Sliding attempts tackled away by Dixon on the second attempt. Dixon now on the ball. It's a loose pass, and Lurie had to track back to go and receive that. It's a bit of a calm in the second half storm now from St. Louis. Trying to get a bit of possession here. Ambersley tracking back, checking back to get the ball. Herrera, his touch lets him down. Mark Anthony Gonzalez, that's a clever sliding challenge. He wants the ball played to him now as he charges past Lurie. Gonzalez in the box now, still trying to drive in. Good persistent defending. Mitch Lurie, and finally gets the block in and plays it out for a corner kick, which will allow a couple of substitutions to be made here, as Shiloh Shuma will be checking in for St. Louis. Trying to get an exact shot of who he's coming in for. Is getting confused here. The referee waving people on and people aren't coming on. Looks like maybe an injury along the far side. Johnny Grant on a knee. Bunch of subs coming up to the halfway line as fourth official Daniel Ortega's got a bunch of work to do now. Finally, the substitution is made. Or is it? Yes, it is. The longest substitution process you'll ever see, as Shiloh Shuma finally makes his way onto the field. As we said, has scored this season in this fixture. He's coming on for Jameel Hardware.
The fourth official, the assistant referee on the sideline, standing over there by all the substitutions, are really trying to communicate to Aaron Hernandez what they want to have happen here. And it looks like Swope Park Rangers are trying to bring on Ezra Armstrong. Or maybe perhaps they're waiting until after the corner kick to bring on Ezra Armstrong.
All in that substitution mess. Johnny Grant looks like he may have picked up an injury, and so that substitution will be made first as Patrick Wilkinson makes his professional debut. Number 60. You can hear the cheers as he's got plenty of family in attendance, family and friends, as the Overland Park, Kansas native makes his professional debut for the Swope Park Rangers. He's verbally committed to St. Louis University, so see if he maintains on that path to become a Billiken.
I believe his brother actually played for St. Louis FC too, so there's a lot of St. Louis ties in the Wilkinson family.
Looks like he's checked in for Johnny Grant, and meanwhile Ezra Armstrong, another academy graduate, making his second appearance of the season. And of course, everyone knows his soccer pedigree in the U.S. setup. And he'll check in for Mark Anthony Gonzalez. So a couple of young guns on the field for Swope Park Rangers. Again, a disappointing delivery from Ayrton. Coaching staff has to be disappointed with his set pieces this game, all game long. And now Shuma immediately on the field. His first bit of action is to concede a free kick. Oh, about 30 yards out, dead center. Plenty of options here for Swope Park Rangers.
Have to wonder if Tomas Granito is going to stand over this and tell Ayrton, hey, let me get this one. You've hit a couple tonight that haven't been up to snuff. Maybe this is a Tomas Granito ball. We know he hits a good one.
He did, like you said, he took charge of that situation, picked up the ball. Take a look at this foul here as, knee in the back there. That's a sore one for Akil Barrett.
A bit of an arm push from Shuma there too.
Barrett didn't like that challenge. You can see the fiery nature there as he shoved out at Shuma. Still perhaps feeling the effects of that challenge. His 5'7" frame, but Granito and Ayrton stand over this one. Granito into the wall. Kelly on the rebound, still trying to fight in the box, still loose, and eventually perhaps a handball given against Dane Kelly, or maybe a high boot. Either way, the play is quickly restarted by St. Louis. Moving on into 71st minute, 70 minutes played here. Still scoreless at Children's Mercy Park. Do one of these teams have that bit of magic to come and claim a winning goal? Tierpak, nice cutback, but it's in the traffic. Granito goes back now. And Patrick Wilkinson getting his first touch on the ball. He's been in the Sporting setup, the academy, since 2012, so long journey for the 17-year-old. Finally making his debut for the Swope Park Rangers, and that's exactly what this team was brought in for. And now a late challenge from Jordan Roberts. He'll be the second St. Louis player in the books. Gets a yellow card for that tackle on Tomas Granito, and a bit of words exchanged there between Roberts and Granito. And see Chris Tierpak jogging back on the field. During that foul call, he had gone over to the near sideline to get some instructions from head coach Mark Dos Santos.
He and Ezra Armstrong over there. It looked almost like it was a, hey, who's at right forward and who's at left back here, the way that this match is going. And Dos Santos was, hey, you go up there, you stay here. And that's got us with Ezra Armstrong out here at left back.
Take a look here at that late challenge from Roberts. Gets a yellow card for the Englishman. And as Chad mentioned, it looks like Ezra Armstrong has slid out to left back, and Christian Duke back in his center midfield role that he has been playing so well at for Mark Dos Santos over the past couple months. So a couple of notable things there, Chad. First, Christian Duke adding that bite in midfield that Mark Dos Santos wants from him, but secondly, two academy kids playing at the fullback positions, but more importantly, Akil Barrett driving forward. Did well to get past one defender, but perhaps too long on the ball. Wilkinson now cutting inside from his right back spot. Perhaps a bit of an introduction to professional soccer there as he carried a bit too far. Ezra Armstrong getting a bit too cute, trying to get over the challenge. Ayrton now in on the tackle. Loose play along this near sideline. Good bit of work though from Dixon. Unfortunately for St. Louis, Mike Ambersley couldn't quite get onto that. Tierpak. And this will allow St. Louis to make a couple of substitutions of their own. Patrick Duty actually returning to action. His first game in quite some time for St. Louis, making his 6th appearance. And you can hear the stadium announcer, Hartzell, saying Vince Ciccarelli, the other substitute being made. So Ciccarelli coming in for Herrera. And Jordan Roberts just picked up that yellow card. It'll be his last action of the game as he's replaced by Patrick Duty. And so we'll have to see how that changes the St. Louis setup. It looks, Chad, like Ciccarelli is going to take that space vacated by Herrera.
Well, and he is STLFC's second leading goal scorer this year with 4 goals on the season. But as we talked earlier, you know, Irvin Herrera is the out-and-out forward on this team, and they might not really have another one.
That's a good ball from Ezra Armstrong in between the lines. Christian Duke plays it into Dane Kelly on the edge of the box. And that one well over the goal. Dane Kelly not happy with himself, puts his head in his shirt.
It's good work from Duke, though, to find that space, receive the ball, turn, and find Kelly. Kelly gave himself the space to shoot. He just doesn't get around and over that ball.
How about the ball on the inside left channel from Ezra Armstrong, splitting 3 St. Louis defenders to create that chance for Christian Duke.
Carter, we started to talk about it earlier. 2 academy kids, 2 17-year-olds at outside back right now for the Swope Park Rangers.
So they try and hold on to this clean sheet. Now a handball perhaps, or maybe a high boot against Akil Barrett. It is getting chippy here. Just the first season that these two teams have matched up, but familiarity breeds contempt, perhaps, as it's the 4th matchup of the season, 4th and final. Wilkinson perhaps not making the right decision and letting that one go through, but Tommy Meyer there to clean up. Be a throw in here, and we saw James Musa take a long throw in the first half. Perhaps he'll take one right in front of his away fans now on that far sideline, deep in the attacking third. Musa flicking it up almost nonchalantly towards Cochran. It's headed out of bounds for a corner kick. It's a good throw and a decent chance carved out from a throw-in.
That's a big throw from a guy. And Musa listed at 6'3" and 200 pounds. He's a big guy, but that's a big, simple throw. He made that look very easy.
Just flicked it up there. Now Chad Bond in the ensuing corner trying to flick it forward. Good touch from Barrett. And just a bit too cheeky as with some howls from the crowd there. Meanwhile, off the ball, a St. Louis player has gone down. Didn't see what happened there, but A.J. Cochran, like we've said, 2nd in the league in minutes played this season, and he's the only St. Louis player to play in every single game. They won't particularly enjoy A.J. Cochran being on the ground. Tim Leonard in his first game. But now this misplay from Barrett leads to another long throw opportunity for Musa. In towards the near post. Cochran tried to flick it on. It's coming down at the edge of the box, and Lubin reacts late to it. Chad Bond saw that one all the way down and got some good contact on it. Perhaps it's through the bodies, but it looked like Lubin didn't get a beat on that until very late.
Not the best clearing header here from Christian Duke. That ball just popped up, and Bond has all the time in the world. And you see all the bodies between that ball, that initial shot, and Zach Lubin.
Corner kick following the save is headed away by Tommy Meyer. Advantage played there as Barrett just managed to get the advantage on Schuma. Dane Kelly asking a lot there from Balo, who's charging forward from his center back position. Did well to get onto that one. Still in the box, Balo. He's wound up picking up a corner. That's great work from the center back on a ball that really he had no business getting to.
Well, and he shows his pace there. We've seen him run defenders or run forwards down from his center defender position, but really flying forward there to get on that ball. And then once he got on it, showing some pace, which you don't always see, especially from a defender.
It's a great first touch to initially get past Dixon, and again, just managed to keep the ball in play and earn a corner kick. Good work from Balo, and he'll stay up for this corner. Ayrton again taking the corner kicks See if his delivery's better now. Up towards the spot, and that's Ballo climbing highest, but that header is nowhere near the goal, and it'll be an easy claim for Ryan Thompson. Tick on into the 79th minute. That's a bad giveaway. Dane Kelly now can charge into the box, and Dane Kelly on goal! Oh, he's fired over. Ryan Thompson with an absolute gift for Dane Kelly, and Kelly cannot capitalize.
Kelly waving like he wanted either a foul or a corner kick here. As we see Ryan Thompson play this ball, forced into it, but plays this ball directly to Dane Kelly. And I don't think there's a shout for either a foul or a corner kick there, but Dane Kelly maybe a little disappointed in himself for not keeping that ball on frame.
I think that's what it's got to be, Chad, to beg for help, as he knew that that was the best chance of the game for either side, and really that should be in the back of the net. Should be 1-0 to Swope Park Rangers, as Ryan Thompson again under pressure, perhaps remembering that poor clearance just a minute ago. He just plays this one out of bounds for a throw-in.
Yeah, not a lot of confidence there in the ball at his own feet and from Ryan Thompson, but doing maybe the smart thing and making sure there was no chance it was coming back at him.
Ayrton now trying to poke it through to Kelly, and well defended by a host of white shirts. Tommy Meyer, a man on, and it's a slack back pass, and it's a first-time finish, and it's a goal from nowhere for St. Louis FC. Tommy Meyer gifts a bad back pass, and Vince Cicciarelli has put Tim Leonard and company up 1-0 in Kansas City.
And Carter, I don't know what we can say about that goal other than you just have to do better there. Tommy Meyer had a 10, 15 meter head start on Vince Cicciarelli, looks over his shoulder, sees where he is, does a decent job of holding him off, and then just doesn't put enough pace on the back pass. This is Tommy Meyer's ball the whole way. He sees it. There's not a ton of pressure. Is he trying to bring that down with his left foot? Is he trying to one-time that to Zach Lubin? Either way, he's got to be more decisive and make sure that ball finds its way to Lubin, or just play it away like we just saw on the other end of the field. But that's an easy finish for Cicciarelli, because Lubin's waiting on the ball to come to him from his teammate. He's not waiting to come out and cut off an angle and make a save one-on-one. That's really disappointing stuff out of Tommy Meyer.
Credit to Cicciarelli. It's a tidy finish on the first time for his 5th goal of the season, and he's given St. Louis FC a 1-0 lead here as we tick on past the 80-minute mark. Granito over for Ayrton. Wilkinson back with Meyer, who has to be shaken from that catastrophic error. Ballo trying to fizz it in towards Duke. Tries to get ahead on that one, but Cicciarelli really gaining ground in this game. That's a great ball over the top. Musa now charging in on Meyer. It's a good first touch to get past Meyer, but good recovery from Meyer to make the block. Still alive, though, for the white shirts. Lurie now dribbling back, and he'll fire it over. That'll be a goal kick. And Chad, what a hammer blow for the Swope Park Rangers as they concede a goal out of nothing. It really looked at that point in time as though the Rangers were building momentum in this second half.
Yeah, not a ton of chances, but certainly had the run of play, had kept St. Louis FC from having any chances after that run early in the second half. But that is a hammer blow. That is a goal you just can't give up, especially in a home rivalry game. And maybe a second loss of focus. And we said it earlier, this is the kind of match where one mistake will give up a game.
That's exactly what has happened so far. Barrett now looking for Dane Kelly. It's a great ball in. Challenge there on the far side. Kelly wanted a foul, but Barrett alive to the loose ball. He fires it wide. It was a great ball in from Barrett initially, and maybe Dane Kelly could have done better on his end there.
Dane Kelly drifts off the back shoulder of the center back right there. Barrett with a nice curling, looping ball to the back post. Maybe hung a little too much in the air. The ball's perfectly on the spot where it needs to be. And the challenge comes in from behind Dane Kelly, and he's not able to put something on frame. not a ton of shout for a foul, but not a ton of fight from Dane Kelly there. And then Barrett firing wide. But that's the stuff you expected earlier in the match.
Sorry, Chad. A couple of substitutions being made now as Will Lettle comes on to make his 6th appearance of the season for the Rangers. He replaces Tomas Granito, and then you see on screen Mike Ambersley being replaced by Jacob Bushue. Battle in midfield, and it's a good ball out wide. Take a look at this chance for Dane Kelly, just waiting, and finally a challenge comes in right on his back foot, right into the defender. Looked like Lurie was getting in there right at the last second. So Dane Kelly was sizing up the frame of goal. Nice 1-2. Questions of offside, but it's on and just over the head of Shilo Shuma. Well worked along that far side between Cicciarelli and his fellow sub Patrick Duty. Ayrton takes that one out of the air. Shuma should really not let him turn in that position. Clever footwork from Tierpak, looking for the feet of Ayrton. Man on. Here's the call from a teammate. He'll look for Ezra Armstrong now. Trying to find the run of Tierpak. And that's a throw-in from Christian Duke's header. Just 5 minutes and change in regular time here in this second half. That's all that Christian Duke and the rest of the Swope Park Rangers have to try and get a goal and bring this thing back level. Omar Ballo gets that cushion header all wrong, goes out of bounds, right to the feet of Mark Dos Santos. Tim Leonard just 5 minutes away from seeing his professional debut as a head coach come away victorious. Armstrong headed forward again by Musa. He's winning a lot in the air in those forward attacking positions. Ballo, it's fizzed into Tierpak. That's a tough take, and Cicciarelli with a cushioned header for Musa. Cutback, gets past Duke. Musa again with the clever footwork. Now it's Shuma. Cicciarelli on the turn, and it looked like that clearance goes off Cicciarelli. It'll be a goal kick.
Carter looking down at the St. Louis FC bench right now. Tim Leonard calling for a sub, presumably to help kill this game off, both time-wise and to bring on another defensive-minded player. He's very much looking at this. He's out off his bench, which he hasn't been most of the match, looking a little more concerned. I think he's feeling the pressure of, hey, I want to hold on and get my first win as a head coach.
Strength there from Ballo to shrug Cicciarelli off the ball, and then he's looking for the deep pass up towards the run of Chris Tierpak. As Chad mentioned, that'll allow St. Louis to make that aforementioned substitution. It's going to be Tyler David checking in, making his 17th appearance of the season. Comes in for Mitch Lurie. See if this will be a like for like, or perhaps Patrick Duty dropping in at left back to help shore things up.
And I think David going to fill in the middle of the park as another holding midfielder.
Just trying to hang on to this 1-0 advantage gifted to St. Louis by the poor back pass from this man, Tommy Meyer. Meyer now back to Zach Lubin. 3.5 minutes remaining of normal time. It's good first touch from Ayrton. It drives into space now. Tierpak on the edge of the box. Cuts back onto the right foot, loses his defender. Tierpak has a go towards the near post. Tipped away. Good save, smartly down to his right. Ryan Thompson as Chris Tierpak carves out his own chance along the edge of the box.
I can't tell if Richard Dixon goes down here. Richard Dixon down on the field after this. Maybe stretching out weird on that ball. It is a really nice save. Thompson almost beat into that post, but does well to get a paw on it and just push it wide. Doesn't get a ton of contact, but that's all it takes.
Corner kick coming in now from Ayrton, on towards the near post, flicked on by Will Little. Cleared away by St. Louis. It's a dirty move from Chris Tierpak just then that left Richard Dixon in a crumpled heap. Comes to nothing, though, as the corner kick is wasted. There's a 50-50 challenge, robust in midfield from Duke and Bond. It's a great ball from Ezra Armstrong. Will Little now trying to drive in on Patrick Duty. Wilkinson in for Barrett. Every white shirt back behind the ball right now as they look to preserve this 1-0 advantage. Over the top, that's Tommy Meyer, heads it down. Still alive, Dane Kelly, edge of the box. In towards Ayrton, back with Kelly. Can he finish? No, Barrett's there, and Barrett scores! It's an equalizer! Akil Barrett with a dream debut for the Swope Park Rangers. He gets his first goal, and it's 1-1 at Children's Mercy Park.
Akil Barrett with a big hug for his new head coach, Mark Dos Santos. Knows he's going to get himself a yellow card here for removing his shirt. But after a crazy scramble in the box, some really nice tight quarter stuff from Ayrton and Dane Kelly, and the ball tackled away from Kelly. We're going to see it right here. Tommy Meyer laying it off. Dane Kelly doing really well to bring it down, plays it to Ayrton. Ayrton slips it through to Dane Kelly. Ball tackled off of him, but falls right to the feet of Akil Barrett, who makes no mistake. Hitting that through 2 defenders, it looks like. We'll see it again. 2 defenders standing on the line, and Tyler David almost keeps it out.
Off-balance finish, and it's a great one from Akil Barrett. Now St. Louis trying to get forward in the box. Defended at the end, last second by Ezra Armstrong. Well done. As the Swope Park Rangers have found an equalizer, and still in the 90th minute here, plenty of time to go ahead and get that second goal. Will Little now on the ball from Ayrton. Little and his step over gets away from him. Wilkinson cleans up over to his fellow Academy graduate, Ezra Armstrong. Armstrong really has displayed some passing ability from his left back position in this second half.
No surprise given his pedigree. It was cool actually to see Ezra's father, U.S. national team legend Desmond Armstrong, was actually out at training this week when we were there. Sporting Kansas City Sporting Club Network had a huge Academy affiliate weekend, and Desmond, the director of a club down in Nashville that Ezra actually used to play for before joining the Sporting Academy.
He's been able to see his kid get his second bit of USL action as well. Surely he's stuck around in town for this game, and now here he is, Ezra Armstrong. So you heard 4 minutes of added time in this second half. Kelly now. Strength to hold off the first defender. It's a really poor layoff actually from Chris Tierpak, but good battling play from Ayrton, who really had his role to play in that goal. It's a mishit ball from Christian Duke, almost came to something as Akil Barrett has really kind of tucked up next to Dane Kelly as more of a second forward. Armstrong now heading it down for Chris Tierpak on the turn. Loses Dixon. Ayrton. Can he play it through? Barrett charging forward again. Just a bit too heavy. The space was there. The pass, unfortunately, was not.
That was one of those instances where Dane Kelly had given some effort before that, had been in an offside position and is coming back slowly. And it almost looks like the center backs forgot about it and forgot about the run of Akil Barrett because of Dane Kelly coming in slowly behind. It was a really good ball, a really good run, just about 2 or 3 feet too heavy.
Here's David in midfield. Wide left. Driving forward. Cross is blocked as that was Jacob Bouchouet. Really haven't seen too much of him since he's come on, but did well on the left side there. We tick on into those 4 minutes of added time, and St. Louis have a corner kick. Patrick Duty coming over to take this one. As referee Aaron Hernandez didn't like the jostling going on right in front of Zach Lubin.
Carter, I will say this is one of the things you may worry about with a couple of 17-year-old kids in there. Not as much height as you would normally have.
Outswinging cross, and Cochran was there initially. Ballo with the acrobatic clearance, still alive in the box. Sliding block from Tommy Meyer. Dangerous challenge. Nothing given by the referee. In fact, he said play on. Lubin now getting a bit of a elbow from Tyler David, and it's really kicking off here as these two teams getting into each other's faces 1-1 in the closing stages of this match. Sam Fink in amongst the combatants, as was Zach Lubin. Be a foul called against St. Louis, so Lubin will restart from a free kick.
And you see Lubin comes up here and wins this ball heavily. May give a bit of a push as he comes through there, and then Tyler David full-on block. I'm not going to let you break out here.
Dane Kelly takes that ball well. It's a good pass from Armstrong. Kelly now charging forward. What a block. That's A.J. Cochran actually absolutely throwing himself, and he's come off worse for it. He took that full force of that shot onto his left foot. Still on the ground, just getting gingerly to his feet now is Cochran. Heroic block as Kelly is charging in the edge of the box. Slack touch there. Shuma actually helped him out because Ezra Armstrong was getting tight. Armstrong now up for Duke, who just clears his lines. Dane Kelly looks absolutely gassed up top. Just probably seconds remaining in this game. Strong challenge from Armstrong. Really open now. It looks like a 4-on-4 break. Barrett trying to play it through. Will Little, can he get him behind? Cut back for Ayrton, edge of the box. Ayrton traveling in, and it's saved by Thompson, still alive. Ayrton again, saved again, and cleared away. Sam Fink alerts the danger, and what a chance for the Swope Park Rangers to get a second goal so late on in this game. Advantage played now. Will Little, 6s and 7s at the back here. Little trying to curl it into the far post, and instead it's right into the hands of Ryan Thompson, and that'll be the last act of the game. It was a flying finish to this one. You could see all the bodies on the ground as both teams absolutely dead at the end of this game. You could see just a pile of bodies all around the field. Players absolutely gassed at the end of this one. It finishes 1-1, Chad Reynolds, as what a fantastic end to the game.
It turned into a track meet there at the end of the match, and you see it. You talk about it. Dane Kelly down, Akil Barrett down, Tommy Meyer with his hands on his hips. Several St. Louis players still down on the ground are getting back up now. And a match that didn't have a lot going for it until about the 70th minute opened up a ton late. Frantic stuff from both squads at both ends of the field, and a huge save from Ryan Thompson to keep the score level and get his team a point on the road.
3 saves in quick succession for Thompson, but it was this man, Akil Barrett, pulls the equalizer back in the dying stage of this game. Tonight's man of the match, presented by Courtyard Overland Park Metcalf, is Akil Barrett. Gets his first goal in his first appearance for Swope Park Rangers. Let's take a look here at what wound up being the equalizing goal. And really, it's a nice bit of play inside the box in tight quarters from Ayrton and Dane Kelly.
And then the tackle just, the ball falls right to the feet of Akil Barrett, who's the first guy to get there and the first guy to get a touch, and tucks it in the back post. Hits it pretty hard, actually. Makes no mistake that that's going to be his goal in the equalizer. And welcome to the Swope Park Rangers, Akil Barrett.
Courtyard Overland Park Metcalf congratulates Akil Barrett, tonight's man of the match. Deservedly so, as he pulls back a point for this Swope Park Rangers side. And it might be a point that is crucial as the Rangers try and climb their way into the playoff standings. They'll still be outside of the playoff spaces after this result, but they managed to keep their necks in front of their interstate rivals. And Chad, after the first season edition of this rivalry, come away a win apiece and 2 draws.
All even, and unless both of these squads make the playoffs and we get another matchup there, that's how the rivalry's going to end after season number 1.
Well, there was an interesting game here at Children's Mercy Park. A first half that was really devoid of any real chances, led to a second half full of them as the game really opened up in the second half. This was the best bit of work early on. Thompson having to tip over his crossbar. In the end, though, It's a good bit of play from Dane Kelly and Ayrton to set up the equalizing goal. For everyone here on our production staff, we'd like to thank you for tuning in. Swope Park Rangers 1, St. Louis FC 1 is the full-time score.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.